Hello and welcome back to Purple in Peril, a Warlock Life, level 14 edition. Not too much to say on the enhancement front. Having gone full out in the Enlightened Spirit, we're just building back up a little bit in the Tainted Scholar, building towards this fourth pack dice and the 20% critical damage in here, which will also give us the Death Ward spell, which is quite nice if you don't have a clickable source for that. In fact, there are plenty of nice spells in here. You've already seen the web. That one gives Featherfall. Don't think. Oh, that gives Crushing Despair, which I don't use, but but what does that give? Should I in fact be using it? -2 on attack saves, skill checks. Yeah, it could be used in advance to debuff enemies. It's not something I've ever really made use of, but perhaps it's something I'm missing out on. The fourth one, as I've just said, is Death Ward. That one is Greater Heroism, which is nice to have as well, but there are other sources, such as this Planar Gird, which comes from the Zorian Cipher level 8 quest in Jorasco, or indeed a scroll of Greater Heroism. As far as I know, you can't get scrolls of Death Ward, but there are certain hirelings that give it. Speaking of spells, what did we've picked up this Dominate person from the Pact. I think that most of the Pact things, with the notable exception of actually the first two, the Entangle isn't bad. You saw me using that lower down the levels before it got replaced by Web. The Knock thing is useful in Heroic, but the Phantasmal Killer, unless you're really spec'd into DC, it gives the opponent 2 saves. So unless your DC is really high, you're not going to get too much mileage out of that, I don't think. Dominate person, I tend to prefer to kill rather than dominate. So yeah, a bit lukewarm on the Pact stuff here. The one of the big selling points of the Acid Pact, well, there are two. First of all, it goes against a will save, so you will never be doing no damage with the Pact, i.e. the reflex save Pacts can sometimes do 0 damage if they come up against opponents with evasion. What was the other thing? Oh, not very much in the game is immune to, or worse still, healed by the acid. Not too much, especially not in the leveling process. I can just think of clay golems and arcane ooze that are healed by it. And then you've got things like wisps in Ravenloft, or in the druid's chain in Evening Star, that are immune, but the wisps are immune to quite a lot of stuff. So I picked up protection from elements on the level 4. If you are a excuse me, if you're a DC caster, you could take hold monster there, something a bit more useful against like reapers and whatnot. Okay, that's the spells side of things. The enhancements we've covered. There's no change in the gear. I'm standing here outside the Spire of Validus for the quest And the Dead Shall Rise, which is bestowed by Siendra Jorasco in the House Jorasco. We're in the graveyard here, the Jorasco Graveyard. So if you've not seen or done this one before, it's basically a big, well, as it says, a spiral, and you spiral up and up and up until you reach the top of the spire where the lich is waiting for you. Now, liches can be problematic because they are highly resistant to magic. I think they may be a little bit like the Wizard King in the Desert Sands, might be immune to spells below a certain level, and I know they're resistant to quite a lot of magic, so that's something to be borne in mind when you engage him. I think the Wizard King is immune to level 4 and below spells, so that can be quite problematic, given that you tend to only have that as a caster when you are running that quest, level 4 and below. The Warlock is lucky in that he gets to use his blast, and that's considered as higher by the time you engage the Wiz King. You'll recall I try to round the things up into a group before dispatching them. It's the most efficient way to go with this build. I can never time those damn traps.
The tower's summit seems forever out of reach, no matter how high you climb.
You've got to kill everything opponent-wise before you're allowed to move on. I think there are secret doors in many of these main rooms with the skeletons in, and I think some of them are either trapped or have enemies behind, but I think one of them, it might be this one, has a shrine. Oh, you can see there on the map, so you could check before you actually opened it which one was the shrine. Don't give me a disease, please. Oh, here we go. So just in case you didn't know, I'm guessing most people do, remove disease and remove curse to get rid of that horrible mummy rot. Oh, cube, not good. You don't want to be wandering around inside the cube, that's heavy damage time. I'll be honest, I never even noticed it. Now these brimstone servitors, you'll just watch when they die, they respawn as something else, and the something else's are more deadly than the originals. I try not to break the sarcophagi in here because I think more opponents can spawn if you do. A bit like some of the quests in the catacombs. Whoa, whoa, what's going on with this filth fever? We don't want any of that. I don't think I'm high enough to do the greater resto, but the resto will do. Right, So this is like a teleport. You can click on any of these. It's like a teleport into the throne room where the lich is. I'm going to switch to single target blast. The floor disappears, so be warned about that. Find somewhere solid to perch on. So I'm going to go and perch on this thing by this chair and just hammer away at him with my blast. I'm going to put Stanch on because he does hit quite hard from memory. Okay, and we outlasted him. Now the whole of the floor is going to collapse now, I think, before too much longer. Now, the quest is over, but if you want a chest or two from this, you can face to the north, just drop down one level, and go straight in here into this section with the block door. There should be a mini boss in there and a chest and a bit of an XP bonus. There is another one somewhere on the way down, but I never quite get it. Is it on the east? Is it there? No. Never mind that then. So you've got the one to the north, and then I'll show you the one right down at the bottom. This is right down at the bottom of the spire. We go down to the bottom here. We've got a couple of chests, and that looks like another mini boss. Oh, I nearly died there. That's not good. I got the mummy rot as well. I'm that busy waffling on, I never noticed we were in dire straits. Okay. So there's a secret door right there in front of me. Oops. Okay, hello. And this is also trapped, so let's do a stanch just in case something horrible happens. Now the chest we can unlock. Or we might be able to. Let's see what kind of stuff we're rolling here. 14 got a success. Okay, now it is trapped, so as soon as I open it there's going to be a trap goes off, but hopefully with our 650 hit point buffer that should be enough, and you get a little bit of a bonus as well for opening it. So that's that. Right, I think that's it for the level 14. We're just building up towards our Shan gear now at 15. Just finishing. I've got the last. No, actually, I've got the part 2 and part 3 of Ravenloft to do. So that should take me reasonably close to 15 once I've finished with that. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.